So I know I've talked a lot about this on Twitter lately. If you've seen my Twitter posts, I've been a little angry this weekend. I've been a little salty. That's probably the best way to describe it. Um, Look, man, this is gonna sound really like specific to me, but I promise I'm gonna make it relevant to everyone, and it should be obvious very quickly why. Uh, I miss record stores. I really miss record stores. Um, so this here's why. Here's why. This weekend, the new 21 Pilots album came out. How they come up in my vlogs so often, it's really weird. It's like I don't listen to anything else. It's like, man, it's not like I'm showing you fucking Royal Public Weekend Man up in here. Go listen to that one. It's pretty good. Um, but yeah, that one that came out, and that was the release date of it. I had it pre-ordered on Amazon, right? And I pre-ordered it like a decent like three or so weeks before the release date, right? And Amazon was like, "We'll deliver it Monday." I'm like, "The fuck you will!" Like, I went on there like a couple of days before release date, which was Friday, and like it said I could order it, and I would have it on release day. Meanwhile, my pre-order was coming on Monday. I don't even know how that works, but it's annoying. Um, and I think the most frustrating thing was it's just like, man, I can just go and get it. It's out now. It's out, and I can go get it. I was off Friday, so it was like I could just go out and buy the goddamn CD. The issue is that like CDs are actually a hard item to find, right? Like, because so many places have stopped carrying them, and record stores have shut down. Like, it's ridiculous. Um, I mean, think about it. Like, record stores are these niche little things. Most of the ones around me are in the city, and I don't go there. We don't go there. The one I'm thinking of, I think is literally like on a cobblestone street too, and you like have to get really lucky to find a place to parallel park outside of it. Um which I cannot stand. There used to be a record store in the town where I went to college. It was a little less than half an hour away on a good traffic day. And I loved that place. Let me just like tell you about it, right? Um, it was this nice sized store in a secluded little shopping center. Like there was a shopping center, and then there was like this alley at the end of the shopping center, and if you went down that alley, there was like another tiny little shopping center behind it, and that's where the record store was. And I love that. It felt like I was going into a secret place where nobody knows. So here's the thing about record stores, right? It's like rows and rows of CDs. You can buy new and used, kind of like GameStop, except like in the heyday of record stores, like used CDs might be the greatest freaking deal ever. Let me see if I can find my favorite one. I should be able to. Cause like, what would happen was, in college, I was like so much more of a reckless. Here it is. I was so much more of a reckless spender. Ironically, um, of course, I was buying CDs and not like video games and Lego Star Wars sets and boxes of Pokemon cards and shit like that. But like this little motherfucker right here. Look at that. $2.99. I bought this shit for $2.99 at a record store. And you might be like, dude, I've never heard of the network. The network or the Netwo. I've never heard of the Netwo before. The Netu, right? Um, uh, Look, the network is Green Day's side project. This is a fantastic, hilarious album that I would recommend to basically anyone. And I got it for $3, man. I paid $3 for that shit at a record store. You ain't gonna find that shit on Amazon. Now it's used and it's a little scuffed, but like it's worked for the past 10 years. Like I don't have any problems with that. I used to not have problems with buying used, and now I'm a snob and pretty much always buy new. I think some of my Pillows albums are used because they're Pillows albums, but like, you know, A lot of my CDs are used, and a lot of my new CDs that were new when I bought them are not new. But yeah, no, record stores were great for that. You could actually go in and like find deals on CDs that maybe were rare or that you didn't want. And like CDs used to be rare because they used to have to do this thing called produce them, right? Like here's this was my white whale for a long, long time. This right here, Blink 182, the Mark, Tom, and Travis show. Um, this was like it was like limited production. They only made so many of them. It's a live album by Blink 182, if you couldn't tell. But like they only made so many of them in the initial run or whatever. So I always looked at a record store because guess what? A record store was the only place you could get them because they wouldn't sell it at the place where you would typically buy new release CDs because it wasn't a new release. Like here's another thing that might blow your mind, but like Target and Best Buy and Walmart and fucking Kmart and Ames. Actually, I don't remember the music section in Ames, but I'm sure it had one because it had an electronic section. But like all of these places had CDs and like lots of them. Like it was kind of cool. But they wouldn't have stuff like this. So you could go to the record store and look in the used section and these limited run albums and CDs or these old ones from years ago from obscure bands, you could find them in this place and you could just fucking look. You could just look through. They might have it, they might not. It was a dice roll. It was exciting. Like going to a store, especially nowadays, is not exciting. But like going to a record store and not knowing what cool ass CD you would find for $5 was exciting because you never knew. You never knew what you were going to walk out. I go in and I'd walk out with 4 different CDs, 2 new, 2 used, and I, spend $40-50 in there, and it was going to be a good weekend when I would listen to all these new CDs that I got, right? And it was just like a great way to get into music. Look, I am a big proponent of physical media anyway because especially now because it's forever. I'm gonna like stock up on CD players so that I can last the rest of my life, and they can like, cause I ain't giving them up. And like ain't no record company coming to my house to take away these CDs. I sound like a crazy person right now, but like, have you seen streaming services lately? But yeah, I just like it was so cool, and like you would go and you would find these weird indie bands that you've never heard of or whatever. Sometimes you could just go and like look at the album covers and be like, oh yeah, this is a cool album cover, I want to get it. Sometimes you would like get a CD in your head or an album and you would be like, okay, I'll look at that the next time I go to the record store. And you go there and it would be $8 for some reason, and it's like, dude, that's fucking great. Of course I'm gonna get into this band for $8. Sometimes the opposite happened and you would want a CD by an artist or something, and you would go there and you would like, and it would be like $18, and it would be like, I gotta think a little harder about this one because it's a little more expensive. But like it was fun because it was there and you got to hold the thing in your hands, and they also had like some memorabilia and stuff, and like Kingdom Hearts lanyards and keychains for some reason. I remember that was great. But like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I miss record stores in particular because they were like super like there was a vibe to them. You know what I mean? And I think that the biggest thing is that like it was a place to go if you liked music, right? Like you could go there and you could exist in that space with music, right? And just like look at music and purchase music and just be fucking, it was like a theme. It was like, this sounds so stupid, but compared to me walking into Target and looking at the fucking, we'll talk about that in a second. It was almost like a theme park for music, right? Because you were totally immersed in the experience of like, and that sounds crazy, but you know what? The record stores are dead, and now there's nowhere to go to just be in a space for music, right? Like, that doesn't exist anymore. And that to me sucks. That to me feels like we as a people have lost something. And you might be like, dude, Funk, this is so weird. First of all, do you know your audience? Do you know your audience? Because none of us go to record stores. Like, None of us ever went to record stores. Funk, you're part of the iPod generation. Didn't you adopt the iPod and then Spotify? And the answer is no. Actually I did have an iPod. I still do. I don't use it, but like cuz like, oh hey, guess what? The software isn't, got updated and it changed and I switched computers and I just never got onto it again. And that sounds lazy, and it is, but like also that's too much. That's like a third party thing that shouldn't affect my music listening. I don't know. I just sound old now, and that's fine. Like, because I am apparently. But no, I just, my point is this. So maybe you aren't really interested in record stores, but like another kind of store that has gone extinct basically is toy stores, right? Like Toys R Us is gone. Like, that was a major chain that everybody knew about, and it was all toys. And, like, it's gone now. There is no store dedicated to that. Right? Like, do you see what I'm saying here? I as a child of the 90s and early 2000s will always have that experience, or that cultural thing of like, the toy store is a place that exists, and going there is the hypest place you could possibly go to in a car. Like, it wasn't always exciting like going to Walmart or to heaven forbid, like J.C. Penney, right? But like, if you got in the car and were going to Toys R Us, that was the coolest thing ever. Because you didn't have to, like, if you went there, you didn't have to look at clothes. You didn't have to look at kitchenware. You didn't have to look at food. You didn't have to go through the towel section, right? You didn't have to stop and look at greeting cards. If you were there, if you were at Toys R Us, or you were in the mall and like your mom let you turn into KB Toys and look at KB Toys, like, it was all toys all the time. It was fucking great. Now I've gone from sounding like an old man to a young child that existed at one point and then became an old man, because no child today is gonna have that experience of walking through KB Toys or Toys R Us or wherever, just like fucking, how do you say fucking about a kid's store? Like, dude, that sounds so fucking weird. We're talking about toys here. We're not talking about, anyways, like shelves higher than your head from the front to the back of the store, all toys. This ain't Walmart, where like, your mom is gonna look at women's clothes for a little while and you're just gonna have to deal with that. Like, goddamn, it's crazy. Like, kids do not have a reason to look forward to going out of their house. Like, when I was a kid and we left the house, there was a small, however infinitesimal chance that maybe we would also go to the toy store, right? Now, granted, if we went to Walmart or somewhere like that, it was kind of the same little infinitesimal hype thing, because like, there is a toy section there, and like, maybe your mom or dad would let you get a toy or something like that. Would be cool. That would be cool. You don't have to. That would be pretty cool. Let me negotiate here. But like, there's a difference between that and like having a place that is centered around you. Like, I think for kids especially, it's cool to have this place, right? This like place that exists, that markets to you, because everywhere else is marketed towards like parents and is boring in some way, right? But like, that's the same thing as a record store. It's the same thing as a game store. Like, GameStop still exists, but A, for how long, and B, it is a shell of its former self. Used to have games all over the walls and take up all the space, right? And now it's like one wall of Funko Pops. And to be honest, I don't really mind what's happened to GameStop so much. I'm just glad they still exist, because I'm glad that there is a physical place that I can leave my house and go to that has something to do with video games. It means that video games are out there in the world, and I have a reason to leave my house. Like, to me, there's an advantage to it. Look, let me tell you something. I love Amazon. I love being able to order something and it just shows up at my house. I don't have to worry about it or whatever. But I like Amazon for rare shit. Okay? If I'm ordering a CD from Japan or like something from Japan, or if I'm ordering a random set of Pokemon cards or something like that, it's nice to have it shipped and delivered to me. It's really nice if it's not timely, because sometimes they lie about the delivery date, and that's really annoying. But like, I just like the idea of leaving my house for something. You know, I am a lazy son of a bitch, right? But like, in part, the world has become that because you don't have to go out anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, I do all my Christmas shopping right here in this seat because it's way fucking easier than having to go out into the stores and do it and fight the crowds and whatnot. And it's like, that's great and all, but something gets lost. There's something about like not going out into the world and not having to, you know, interact with people and do stuff. And it's like, I don't particularly care for having to do that stuff, but the more I end up trapped in this hell of my own making, like, the more I come to appreciate having to go out into the world for things. And how nice it is to actually have a destination for the things that I actually like. You know? Like, even as an adult, going to Target is fun because I can just, like, buy whatever the fuck I want that they happen to have. But, like, it also isn't, because rather than go to Target and look at their scant physical music section, which is, by the way, like 70% Taylor Swift vinyls. And like, if you want to talk about the physical music problem, it's because so much shelf space is dedicated to Taylor Swift vinyls that sell for $35 a pop. Like, what the fuck? Why would, like, I get that vinyl is a collector's thing or whatever now for some reason, but like, why if a CD costs $15 and that's on the expensive end of a CD, right? I think the 21 Pilots one cost me $14, but like, if a CD costs $14, why the hell would you ever spend $35 on a vinyl? I don't get it. Like, some of them are cool and they have cool things on them, which I guess is cool, but like, dude, the CD is so much more practical. CDs are so fucking cool. We're not going to get into that. But, like, you know, it's like, it's sad going into Target. It's like, I'm not going to, you know, I can barely find the thing I want. I mean, this was a new release by a pretty popular artist. You know, I mean, they're not as relevant as they were in maybe 2015, but, like, they're still, like, they're still the ones that did Stressed Out, man. Like, they're still doing pretty well. But, like, I don't know. It's like, it sucks to go in there and like not only not find the thing you want without asking, because I did have to ask, which was a problem because I looked through the electronics section and like, dude, I remember back in the day, this is going to be me sounding old, but when I say what I'm about to say, you're going to be like, wow, that is actually stupid. I remember back in the day, they had people working in the electronics section, right? So there was like usually like one or two people behind the counter there. And there were one or two people behind the counter there. I heard that. And then there was like one or two people like kind of walking around, kind of like doing stock and stuff like that. And you would have to ask them for the keys to get the video games, right? Which was exciting and also daunting. But it like made me do things. It like forced me to actually like talk to a person, okay? So I'm kind of thankful for it. But like, no, there was no one. The only person in the electronics section of Target that day was the dude that annoyingly tries to sell you a phone. And like, by that I mean like, you could be like ready to turn into the Lego aisle and he's like, hey, what kind of phone you got? And I'm like, I just got a new Android. And he's like, let me get you a better plan on it. And I'm like, no, you can't even sell me a CD. Why am I gonna buy a cell phone plan from you? You know, it annoys me. That annoys me. And there's like not an actual Target worker there to answer my question about 21 Pilots, you god dang doof. Like, the state of brick and mortar stores is so goddamn sad to me. You know, and it's all this, oh, here we go. Guess what it is? It's corporate greed. It's, oh, well, if we don't have brick and mortar stores, then we don't have to pay people to man them. You know what I mean? It's like, if less people, like, it's so dumb because I feel like some corporate head guy gets, like, the message, like, so, like he just hears through the grapevine, oh, yeah, not as many people shop at the brick and mortar stores anymore. And then he hears that, and, like, literally every single decision that comes to him is like, hey, man, do you think we should sell this new brand of popsicles? And the CEO is just like, people don't do this anymore. People do this, right? And the dude's just like on his cell phone playing Candy Crush. He's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if we should sell that new popsicle because, like, people don't really go to brick and mortar stores anymore. Dude comes up, is like, hey, should we have a sale this weekend? And the dude's like, people don't really shop at the brick and mortar stores anymore. And it's like, it's stupid, dude. I like to have places to go on my planet. Like, it's so dumb. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's like, as much as I appreciate convenience, as much as I appreciate the convenience of, say, you know, having something delivered to my house, or going out to shop, but it's at a place like Target where there's, like, everything in one store, right? Like, that's all great and convenient, but I do kind of miss specialized shops that, like, just kind of sell one thing, and you go there and you kind of just, like, you get in it. You're immersed. You might find people there that want to talk about the same things that you do. You know what I mean? And, like, so many of those stores have died off. So many independently owned stores of all types have died off because the larger chains have killed them. And, like, it's depressing because there's just nowhere to go. You either go to the highly corporatized place that's just trying its best to turn a profit and nothing else, or you shop online, and there's nothing, there's no interaction with that. You then tweet about it to let people know that you bought a thing, right? Hey guys, I bought a thing. Am I cool now? Sometimes I do that. It's real bad, actually. But, like, I really lament the loss of, like, record stores and toy stores and game stores and collector stores, and it's like they got to struggle to survive. Like, they got to do shit. There's a like, you hear about indie card shops, right, that sell, like, Pokemon cards and Magic and all that stuff, and, like, how they have to, like, swindle people, you know, just to stay afloat, because that's the only way they can, because they're not turning profits otherwise, because it's just impossible to, you know what I mean? And it sucks, because I wish these places would become more interactive, because look at all of the fucking retail space, right? Like the next time you're out on a drive or going somewhere or going to the big box store, right? Like, just look at all the empty retail space that exists. And, like, it's still there. And why is it still there? Because someone looks at it and is like, fam, I got money in this place. You ain't knocking it down and planting trees, because somebody's going to want to buy it and do things that are going to make money eventually. And it's like, nah, man, shit's dying. You might as well just knock it down and plant trees until somebody actually wants to do something with the land, you know? I don't know. There's a lot of depressing shit that happens when you start to talk about record stores. But, like, I really do, like, just think about it for a minute, you know? It's like, just I think of it like this. And the way I'm going to phrase this is going to surprise no one. But, like, imagine, like, game stores that are, like, mini little magfests. You can just go, well, okay, I'm describing an arcade, but, like, you know, just imagine you can just go there. Like, arcades are dying too. I mean, part of that's because of COVID, but, like, you know, like, all these places there's just nowhere to go, man. I mean, I see a lot of posts on Twitter and like Reddit and stuff now that talk about how, like, teens especially have nowhere to go now, because, like, nowhere will let teens hang out because they're seen as a nuisance, and, like, all the spaces that were previously made for teens are, like, gone because they're unsustainable, because teens don't have that much money, and if you like, if that's your demographic, well, you're not going to make much money because they don't have much money, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, there's nowhere for them to go, there's nothing for them to do, and it's like, no wonder they you know, And then everyone's going to complain, oh, they're always on their phones. Oh, they never go anywhere anymore. It's like, I wonder fucking why. You know, they don't have anything to do. It's like, you know, and there's nowhere for them to get jobs because all of these places have gone by the wayside and the only thing left are corporate jobs that suck and don't want to take care of you. So why should you even care? Or why should you even apply? It's like, I even hear that like in my own space. People are like, oh, people don't want to work today. Yeah, no shit, they don't want to work today. Why would they want to work today? There's no record stores for them to work in. There we go. We loop back. Thank God. Saved it. Got it. So yeah, it's just depressing, man. As you can see, this topic is like a lot more involved than just like old man wants record stores back the way they used to be. And it's like, that is true. I do want that. However, I also like just want places to go. I want to go places. I think about it. Like, you know, I think about it like for my own self. You know, I was thinking about, oh, I'm lonely. You know, oh, I never meet people. How do people meet people? How do I, you know, you know, how do people meet their significant others? How do you do that? It doesn't even seem possible. And like, part of the thing is, I would love to be able to go somewhere where I'm into something and like, you know, there might be other people into something there. And like, there's nowhere to go. You know, there's nowhere to go to just kind of like exist in a space with a thing that you like. You know what I mean? And that's sad to me, you know. And corpos don't care. You know, the people aren't. GameStop is not interested in turning into a gaming experience, which is basically what it should be. You know, they're just interested in selling you memberships and service plans. Like, bro, I'm 30 some years old. I think I know how to take care of a game. Like, except for the small, tiny, like GBA and DS games that I've lost over the years. There's been a couple, but like, all of my GameCube games still work. We don't have to talk about this, but like, yeah. So, tell me what kind of retail space you would like to see exist in the comments. And have a fantastic day. Go to a record store, please. Unless it's in the city, then you don't have to go.